Welcome to Business Owner Therapy, the podcast that dives deep into the real stories of business owners. From managing daily operations to overcoming challenges, we're here to share the highs, lows, and lessons learned on the entrepreneurial journey. Whether you're just starting out or a seasoned pro, join us every week for insights, inspiration, and practical advice. Let's get to work.
What's up, everybody? This is Cameron Bradley with Flag Eye Media. I am coming to you live for an interview because I saw a post this morning and we're talking about how stressful business ownership is. So I decided to start filming and actually do an episode for it. So here's our first episode for our podcast and how this is going to go. And I have a guest with me. What is up, Carlos? Introduce yourself.
Hey guys, how are you guys doing? I'm Carlos Ceballos, the owner of Third Eye Media. And today we're going to be talking about what it consists of being an entrepreneur and the stress that comes with it.
Thank you. Carlos is awesome videographer. Actually, go introduce what you do, man. What do you do, man?
We do a little bit of everything, but our focus is in sports and branding. It's a tough journey. We do, as content creators, we pretty much make any vision come to life. But I take pride in analytics and just understanding what it takes to actually build a brand. You know, what that actually means and how you can actually bring something to life that was just an idea one day.
Absolutely. So we're going to go ahead and get into these interview questions. I've got a couple of them for them. So, Carlos, what inspired you to start your media production business?
I always loved creating, but I think honestly the thing that probably made me start my business was COVID. We all, were impacted pretty hard with COVID, but I went from working a pretty good job in the oil refineries to not having employment at all in the snap of a finger like that. That kind of opened my eyes to having, all of my marbles in one basket. So that kind of helped, the transition of my passion in photography to let's see what we can actually do with this. So, actually just investing into it and getting all the equipment I actually needed for it. Once we got to that point, that was and honestly just the freedom of being an entrepreneur. I never did too well with micromanaging and things like that. Being in the military, a lot of structure, and I love the person that made me to who I am today. But I would also say just being able to control what you want to do and what you don't want to do as an entrepreneur, I love that. You don't have to do business with every single person. Sometimes it isn't the right fit.
Very good answer. I appreciate it. Thank you, Victoria. I appreciate your stars as well. So, whenever you started, I know you did work with me a lot, and that's going to lead me to the next question. Can you tell me about the early days of your company and how it was evolved ever since then?
Man, a lot of lessons, you think you have it all figured out and you think you can just sit here and just run a business and it's all going to be perfect and it's all going to be good. But I would just say the lessons, man, every business owner's been through them. There's going to be great days, but there's also going to be days that you just wish you weren't a business owner. But I treat my losses like my wins and my wins like my losses, man, and I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Absolutely, man. I remember some of those early days whenever we do weddings and everything together, get somewhere and forget that we don't have any memory cards, no charge batteries. No, those are the days. Shout out to my Best Buy gift cards and credit cards for allowing me to be able to buy stuff day of weddings. Credit is very essential. Utilize it. So, Carlos is a really good friend of mine. Like he said, he was in the military for a little bit. I also kind of got into a space where I started my business due to businesses being shut down. And hey, whenever you lose a really good, cushiony job, it makes you realize that it can happen anytime. Doesn't matter how great you are, how great everything it is you do. At some point, contracts end. At some point, jobs in, man. So this is going to lead us to that second question. We're going to go ahead. So can you tell me a little bit about some of the early days of your company and how it's changed since then?
I feel like early on in my company, I felt like I was so passion driven, you know. I didn't have none of the resources I had today, and I wasn't letting nothing get in the way of it, you know. I didn't want any excuse, any scenario to get in my way, you know. I really just wanted to create. And, you know, as the Lord and my great group of people around me has, you know, blessed me with, you know, equipment, you know, opportunities, and it just fuels the fire, man. You know, like it's like a person with an idea who doesn't have the resources, man. But once you start to get everything, you're really so grateful of the situation. But at the same time, it's a never-ending thing. You know, it's like, oh, I can do this now, or I could do this now. You know, now all the barriers you think you couldn't do certain things because you didn't have certain things or you didn't know how to do certain things. You realize that's nothing, man. That's all a mental thing. You know, you can really just keep pushing through it and really just create, man. But I think the biggest thing would just be, in terms of creating, I think now I genuinely believe nothing is impossible in terms of creating. You know, like the friends I got, the network, you know, the relationships I have, man, I really realize with the right group of people around you, man, you could really do anything. But in terms of business, I would say I just think more strategically. You know, I'm not just taking everything that comes my way. You know, and even if it sounds great, you know, I just might not be the best fit, and that's a big thing. You know, in terms of business, you know, you really got to realize, just because you can create and just because you can do a lot of things doesn't mean you're the guy for the position, and that's okay. You know.
That's real, man. That's actually like extremely important to actually like show like maturity to be able to say like, hey, man, I know I could do this, but I might not be the best guy for it. And those are good. That's a really great answer, man. So I'm gonna go to the next question. So what is the story behind the name of your company? Let's hear it.
So you know the big three, Third Eye Media, you know the family. A lot of people ask me this question, man, like, what's up with Third Eye? What's up with Third Eye? Like, what does that actually mean? I'm gonna be honest with you, I really don't know. Like, one day I was, I really just wanted to think of something just different, you know, like, not my perspective, not the person's perspective that thinks is right or wrong, but just, you know, that natural, organic perspective. That's kind of the base to it, and really the whole third aspect of Third Eye Media really comes from me being a junior. You know, I'm the second, you know, so this really, everything I'm doing and everything I'm building really right now is for the third. You know, he really don't even know what he is yet, but the third really gonna be the one. So it's just something that just, I wanted to create a perspective that wasn't my perspective or just anyone around me, you know, just something I thought that was cool, you know, and that's kind of how Third Eye Media came.
I appreciate that. I'm going to go ahead and just show this board. This is one of the original stickers for his company, one of the originals for my company. We've been working together for a long time, actually. It's actually really, really cool to see how companies have developed and like where they're at this current moment. But we're going to go to the next question. So what unique services does your media production company offer that sets you apart from your competitors?
I would have to say my level of understanding, you know.
That's important.
I'm not gonna sit here and run my mouth on stuff you don't even understand. You know, in terms of creating, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you I can deliver every single thing you want. But what I can tell you I'll tell you I will sit here and make sure I understand exactly what you want, so we can get as close as we can possible to it. I'm very big on, you know, like before big brand shoots or before, you know, just any type of content creation, I really like to sit down and talk to my client a couple times, you know. When we first initially speak about it, when they're annoyed of it, when they're stressed about it, I want to know every aspect of what you're looking forward to and what you're not looking forward to in terms of creating, you know, your vision. It's kind of like telling a story to 50 people, you know, getting a person to be able to describe something to you and you bringing it to life. It's tough. I don't care who you are as a content creator, man. It gets tough because sometimes some people just can't describe. I'm an engineer, and it's so funny because I have to describe myself every single day in reports, and I believe my description skills are horrible. I would tell you over there, and that over there could literally be 10 miles. You know, but that's just that's just how I am. And so with that being said, I always like to ask a million questions. You know, like I'm to this day. You know, I've been in the game for like 13 years now. I'm still a student to the game. You know, I'm never gonna sit here and act like I got it all figured out. You know, because you know I'm figuring it out every day. But in terms of you know what separates me from my competitors or anybody around me or any other media production company is that I genuinely love to understand what my client wants. You know, and sometimes I introduce them to things they're not even aware of either. You know, and then we can come together and figure something out. But I think that would be the thing that separates my business from others.
That is pretty awesome. That is a good answer, man. So I will say that's really important whenever it comes to creating. Most people don't know what they want, but they know what they don't want. So like for us to like not have to do like 4 and 5 revisions when it comes to projects, we usually like end up doing something different. Like I remember initially when I started, I used to just like have those like pre-interview questions like and things like that for my clients. Then it got to a point where the questions had to become more in depth because I realized that we might have missed something whenever we were speaking, and it's like, okay, we found a point of confusion and we never want to have that point of confusion again. So one of the better things about that understanding is just you don't have to have it all figured out. Just always be willing to grow and always be willing to learn and always will get just be willing to get better. Like my questionnaire for pre-work started at 5 questions. I think it's at like 23 now, and we're at year 5. So hey, you gotta add stuff so you don't like have any gray areas. You do not want any gray area when you're contracting and making things for people, especially when there are events that happen one time, like weddings. Alrighty, so it's going to transition us into this next question. How have you seen the media production industry change over the years, especially with the rise of digital content and streaming platforms?
So, I'm ecstatic, man. I genuinely believe that content creating is going to be a whole nother level of the industry is just on a whole new phase, man. This AI technology, the younger generation, you know, of course, you know, with anything, things evolve, things grow, things change. The older guys know it all. The younger guys trying to mess everything up and start something new. But I love the fact of technology. I mean, you got to think sensors nowadays are ridiculous. You can pick up a crust on your eye. And then in terms of, you know, editing, I mean, you can pretty much do anything that you want nowadays. So I think the outcome of all, you know, that together will really be something next level. Something, you know, none of us ever even fathomed. You know, or just know that your results are just not limited at all. You know, with the right, you know, pieces, you could really create anything.
That's a really good answer, man. So those first few questions, he knew they were coming, so I'm actually hit him with a random question that is on here that he was not prepared for. Okay, so how do you keep up with advancements in media production tools and techniques?
I don't. I stay in my own lane. Perfect example right now. I'm trying to use a cinema camera that I do not know how to use. It's humbled me a lot. But nah, I really don't try to like look around. There's so much going on. I mean, if you're talking about Red, REs, all these different levels of cameras, and I think it's very important for you to stay in your own lane. You know, like stay focused on what you need to be focused. Don't overwhelm yourself. You know, I can sit here and want to learn how to do all these other things right now, but I don't need to. For what I need to do, you know, I'm a student of still to the day. I'm nowhere near knowing everything, but I like to focus on what I need to learn, because you can be so overwhelmed quickly in this business. If you have a lot of clients and you have a lot of work going on, you can literally get lost in the sauce in a matter of nothing. So I really just like to stay in my own lane. You know, just think about what I need to do as a content creator for sports. You know, what's evolving in sports right now. You know, what works, what isn't working. And then in terms of creating content for brands or, you know, building a brand, you know, that's something that evolves every single day. but I think just understanding what you're trying to accomplish is a big part of it, but also, you know, focusing on the steps, you know, stop focusing on that destination so much.
It's a journey.
That those steps will take you so much. It'll take you further. I'll never forget, you know, just having other content creators, you know, telling me one thing that literally changed my game forever, you know, and that little thing went so far for me, and I would always say that it's very important to, you know, don't get lost in the sauce. It's a lot going on, and you can very quickly, you know. So just understand what you need. Focus on that. You'll be fine.
Very nice, very nice. I know you mentioned branding, and since you did that, I'm going to go ahead and ask another question. How important is branding and media production, and how do you ensure your work reflects your brand's vision?
The biggest thing that I would say in terms of branding, you have to understand that we're all in industries that are, I wouldn't say saturated, but there are other people doing the same exact thing that you do. And from what I've learned in networking, you know, people will work with the kind of people that they want to be around. You know, so that's something in terms of branding I think you can use as a tool to show that to the world. You know, show the people, you know, this is who I am and this is what I do. And you'd be surprised the type of environment that you are just like other people that want to work with you. You know, and I think people forget about that sometimes. And it's not just about showing what separates you or what does this, but it just gets people to know who you are, you know? And that goes so far in business. If you really do, you know, this entrepreneurship stuff, you know, having a good group and a good amount of people around you can take you so far.
Absolutely. If you want to go fast, go by yourself. If you want to go far, go with a group. And I'm going to do one last question just so we can wrap up here. So, how do you maintain a work-life balance in such a fast-paced and demanding industry?
That one is tough. That is actually something that I am still learning to this day. I'm a workaholic. If you know me, you know I get to it every single day. From 5 o'clock in the morning till midnight, I'm doing something. You know, I'm at a project, you know, testing some stuff for a new building they're trying to build. Right after that, I'm pushing straight to, you know, editing, or I'm pushing straight to a gig that I gotta go film an event or something like that. But, you know, I also play other roles. You know, I'm a husband. I have a lovely wife, you know, and it can get tough because you want to be there for those people, especially, you know, that is the reason why I do what I do, you know, why I hustle so hard. It's because I want to, you know, provide. I want to create a life for the ones around me. But at the same exact time, you know, you got to do the work. You know, it's not going to come out to anybody like that. Like one thing I live on every single day when I want to quit or when I want to give up, I just think about this is the time when the normal person would quit and give up. I'm not normal. I'm not average. You know, I'm an entrepreneur. You know, I'm not going to let nothing get in the way of me getting to where I want to be. You know, and I know how to work smarter too. You know, I've gotten to that point, you know, where instead of just always grinding, I know when to dish out and when to delegate things. But at the same exact time, you know, balance is key. But if you're an entrepreneur, you know that's not a real thing.
Yeah, you're not
we ain't
wrong.
got Christmas. We ain't got New Year's. We ain't got Sunday days off. It's where my content at.
It's absolutely.
You home yet?
Facts.
Did you send them pictures yet? You know, so and I wouldn't trade it for the world. I love it. You know, don't get me wrong, it is a little stressful sometimes. But man, the things the camera's done for me, man, the places I've been, the things I've been able to do for my loved ones, man, I wouldn't trade it for the world. Get you a camera, man. Tell it.
Yeah. Not gonna lie, this was a great interview. It was really, really good for like concept. One of my lights did go off, but hey, it's show business. Not everything works the way it's supposed to the whole time. But do you want to go ahead and say thanks to Carlos for like joining in for this interview? Anyone else that wants to get interviewed or anything like that, let me know. Like, we're gonna be doing these like more in the near future. And I did put on my story, I want 10 business owners to interview because I want to be able to actually like start doing this more frequently, and I really want people to know what's going on in our community. There's so much stuff that goes on in Fayetteville that no one knows about until it already happens, and they get upset, and people don't know who's doing what, and so many people are just upset because the communication's not where it needs to be, and we just need to build this community, man, and that's the only thing it's going to do. Carlos, I'm going to have you go ahead and tell everybody where you can find you on social media, everything like that. Go ahead, shout your business out, talk your stuff for a little bit.
Alright, man. In terms of sports, you're going to catch me on Instagram under sports by3. That's SPORTS_by3. Facebook is going to be under Carlos Ceballos, my name. In terms of booking, just reach out to me, man. We'll figure something out. Next year, we got the website coming, and we got more formal stuff working. But that's all in the works right now. But as of right now, just reach out to me on my socials, and we'll get that work done.
Absolutely. Thanks again. Thank you, everybody that tuned in. Thanks for your comments. Thanks for everything that you did. And like I said, we're going to do this a little more often, and we're going to just start letting people know what's going on in our community. All right, we're out.